commitment to the American people. And we continue to do just that. Earlier this morning, on the floor of the House of Representatives, Democrats and Republicans came together to reauthorize the Federal Aviation Administration in a bipartisan way, once again illustrating that there is the opportunity to find common ground in the best interest of the American people. When a bill does not contain the type of poison pill items that are designed to jam the extreme right-wing ideology of many Republicans down the throats of the American people. At the same time, when Republicans take a bipartisan piece of legislation like the National Defense Authorization Act, attack the women of America, attack reproductive freedom, attack the LGBTQ community, attack diverse communities all across the country, and undermine our national security and the ability of our military to recruit from every corner of America, we're going to oppose that type of extremism. And that will be our approach as we continue. And so next week, we'll have an opportunity perhaps to vote on a few of the appropriations bills, which are not going in the right direction. Because again, Republicans have chosen to try and jam their extreme right-wing ideology down the throats of the American people and take us toward a nationwide ban on abortion care, bully the transgender community, undermine equal opportunity in every single zip code in a diverse country. And if they continue down this path, we will oppose their extreme efforts. At the same time, Democrats are going to continue to focus on building an economy from the middle out and the ground up, not the top down. This is a very different vision for America than the extreme MAGA Republicans have at this moment in time. It's an approach on the Democratic side that is working. More than 13 million good-paying jobs have been created during the Biden administration. That is a record. Unemployment at 50-year lows. Wages are increasing. Inflation and gas prices coming down. And the ability for the American economy to recover has been more robust than any other developed economy in the world in terms of emerging from the COVID-19 pandemic. The Democratic approach to the economy is to build an economy from the middle out and the bottom up. The Republican approach to the economy is the top down. Is the Republican economic philosophy tax cuts for the rich, deregulation for wealthy corporations, and wage stagnation for everyone else, as compared to the Democratic approach of growing the middle class and building an economy that works for everyday Americans. And it's working. Question? Republican hearings that have unfolded over the last few days and throughout this entire Congress are a malignant clown show that are not designed to address issues that impact the health, the safety, and the economic well-being of the American people, but instead peddle outlandish and out-of-control conspiracy theories. The notion that Republicans would give a congressional platform to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., peddles anti-Semitic tropes and baseless xenophobic conspiracy theories, which together are directed at the Jewish community and the Chinese American community, is unbelievable. Which is why you can't take our Republican colleagues seriously when they tell you that they believe in tolerance. Why would you give Robert F. Kennedy Jr. a congressional platform to spew his hatred? Here's the answer. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a living, breathing, false flag operation. His whole campaign is being run by right-wing political operatives who have one objective: try to take down President Joe Biden. That's why Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was given a congressional platform on this week of all weeks, because my extreme MAGA Republican colleagues are really not interested in doing anything meaningful to improve the economy, address inflation, create jobs, or deal with public safety concerns, particularly around the gun violence epidemic that are afflicting the American people. We haven't had an opportunity to discuss timing around the Santos issue, but understand, the extreme MAGA Republican majority is more concerned with defending serial fraudster George Santos than defending the health, the safety, or the economic well-being of the American people. We were told months ago that the Ethics Committee would conclude its work in an expedited way within 60 days. 60 days have expired, and we've heard nothing but crickets from the Ethics Committee. Why? Because extreme MAGA Republicans have no interest in holding serial fraudster George Santos accountable. They are defending him in the same way they defend Marjorie Taylor Greene, and in the same way that they're defending Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his wild conspiracy theories. Take it, man. Well, the classification issue is one that I think should be undertaken in a bipartisan way. And so I'll leave that effort to the House Intelligence Committee. I've got great confidence in Jim Himes, his thoughtfulness, his approach to both safeguarding national security, but also embracing transparency whenever necessary. And I'm hopeful that the Intel Committee can come up with a set of recommendations, guardrails, a blueprint for how to strike that correct balance between protecting our national security and at the same time ensuring the greatest amount of transparency for the American people.
That right there is House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries speaking a short time ago over in D.C., answering questions from members of the media. I want to call your attention to the other boxes. They are on your screen. Up to the top right, you can see President Biden expected to speak in the next 30 minutes or so, possibly an hour from now, over in Philadelphia, where we just saw him tour the Philly shipyard. He will be speaking there on Bidenomics and the economy. Down on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, that is CWRAL, and that is tornado damage in Nash County, North Carolina. We did see extensive damage as a result of a rare EF3 tornado that struck just yesterday. It is 12:45 on the East Coast and 9:45 on the West Coast. Let's take a quick 2-minute commercial break, and we will be right back with more live raw and unfiltered coverage. Fox, I want to take you out to Kentucky, where Governor Andy Beshear is providing a live update on the flooding that has been seen, especially in the western part of the Commonwealth.
Of Kentuckians who are fighting every day to keep our neighbors and our friends alive. They're doing incredible work in some of the most difficult areas. To continue moving forward on this momentum, we recently awarded over $7.6 million in funding to expand treatment for pregnant and parenting women, increase access to recovery programs to help those in recovery find good-paying jobs that will put them on a path to long-term recovery. This drug crisis hurts everyone, especially our most vulnerable populations, our children. We cannot allow this to continue, which is why it's so important we all work together to reduce the stigma of asking for help. One great organization that's joined Team Kentucky in this mission that's been doing it a long time is the Chrysalis House. This organization is using the funding to enhance its residential treatment services to pregnant and parenting women by providing specialized medical staff who are available at all hours of the day. This is an organization I was proud to work with and provide some funding as Attorney General that my mom has worked with throughout the years. They truly do an incredible job. So with us today.
So it sounds as though they were talking about some other topics as well. We know there is extreme flooding in the western part of the Commonwealth, but it looks like they have moved on to some other topics there. Just wanted to dip in and take a listen. I do want to head out live over to Philadelphia. As we mentioned a bit earlier, we are at the Philly shipyard and expect to hear from President Biden in the coming minutes. Let's pop up the audio ahead of his speech, as there are some other speakers here with the Philly shipyard.
To Philadelphia. And here we are, going strong, 25 years later, more than 1,000 jobs. Something you often say, Mr. President, has always struck me as so true. You always say, never bet against America, because here anything is possible. This shipyard has faced many challenges over the years, including a pandemic, but we persevered, and today we have more than 1,500 people building the best ships in the country, and in the next several years we will graduate 200 plus homegrown apprentices into our family. America truly is a great country. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Mr. President, and please know that you're always welcome in our shipyard. Thank you.
So again, you were having a speaker there at the Philly shipyard. That is where we saw President Biden speaking as he was meeting with folks there a short time ago. The stage is set for him to join the podium there any moment now and start speaking on the economy. However, we have some other speakers ahead of him, so let's pop that audio back up.
Shipyard, building our vessel, starting with the steel cutting today. So welcome again to everyone. And a special thank you to Mr. President for coming to our steel cutting ceremony for offshore wind rock installation vessel, the Arcadia. It is an honor to have you here, and thank you to all your staff, the hardworking staff who made this event happen in a very short time. Today, Mr. President, we have cut the first steel for our vessel in support of your vision of cleaner, renewable offshore wind energy for the nation, representing a US $300 million investment for our company. Mr. President, the group that is gathered here today has responded to your vision, to your challenge, to build a domestic offshore wind industry here in the United States. This new domestic industry will support new generations with sustainable, renewable energy.
All right, So that is some of the speakers that are ahead of President Biden here. He is expected to address Philadelphia about the economy coming up at the Philly shipyard in just about 7 minutes. We know these things rarely start on time, but it looks like the program is already up and running. So you can catch those comments right here on Live Now from Fox. It is now 12:53 on the East Coast and 9:53 on the West Coast. Let's head to our final 2-minute commercial break of the hour, and on the other side, our very own Mike Page will be in the hot seat with all your top stories and live events. You're watching Live Now from Fox.
The Navy left Philly shipbuilding, but now shipbuilding is once again a major driver of the region's economy. The work happening here right now is a testament to how smart federal investments can create jobs and grow a local economy. As you can see at the docks here, all around us, Philly Shipyard is currently constructing 5 national security multi-mission vessels for our nation's maritime academies. We christened the first one just 3 weeks ago. And now, the shipyard has won the contract to build the Acadia, as well as $1 billion order from Matson to build 3 new Jones Act container ships This is creating over 1,500 good union jobs right here in Philadelphia. The growth and resurgence at Philadelphia Shipyard is an inspiring tale, and it's an honor to have the president here to celebrate this amazing example of American industry and how when we invest in America and we invest in Americans, it's good for American jobs, it's good for the American economy, it's good for our national security, and it's good for clean energy and the environment. The rock installation vessel being built here in Philadelphia will be the first of its kind to be made in the United States. The Acadia will grow the nation's capacity to construct new offshore wind turbines. Turbines that are crucial to our transition to a green economy and to meeting our clean energy goals. Thanks to the leadership of President Biden and congressional Democrats, we have made the largest investment in clean energy in our nation's history. And it's because of that investment that Great Lakes Dredge and Dock is growing its fleet of offshore wind-related vessels. These ships demonstrate the win-win of a green transition. It pioneers new industries, revitalizes existing ones, creates jobs, lowers emissions, and puts us on a path to a sustainable future. We still have a lot of work to do if we're going to meet our climate goals and develop a vibrant offshore wind industry, and I'm committed to working with President Biden and congressional leaders and the amazing workers here at the Philadelphia Shipyard to continue the progress we've made. Thank you so much.
You're watching live now from Fox, everybody. We are taking a live feed right here from Philadelphia right now, just moments away from President Biden to be making some remarks here on the economy as well as infrastructure projects, not only in Philadelphia, but really across the country. So we will be featuring that for you in moments as they set up now for the president and get the presidential seal there. We'll wait for that to come back here, and right now we are here in a new hour. I'm live now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Pace. Thanks again for being here with us. Here's what we have coming up in this hour. Just like I said, taking it out to Philadelphia as union members are there. Obviously, President Biden is very big with unions, and they will have his support there speaking in Philly on the economy and infrastructure. So that is coming up here in just moments. We also will have a State Department briefing coming up this hour as well. But in the meantime, I do want to go, while we do wait for the president, as soon as he walks up there, we will switch gears here. Of course, that's what we do here on Live Now from Fox. But I want to go out to another live feed that we are getting from the Kentucky governor right now, speaking on 1 year after the disaster of the Kentucky flood, talking about the recovery.
Death and marriage certificates free of charge. As I mentioned earlier, the Team Eastern Kentucky Flood Relief Fund raised more than $13.2 million. The first $450,000 went out to pay for every single funeral so that we could grieve together. And no one had to wait on a FEMA payment a year or 2 years later that might have covered part of it. The fund provided $4 million in immediate relief payments directly to individuals who suffered property damage in the storm. Over $1 million is already committed to rebuilding home and home repairs with nonprofit partners like Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky, Housing Development Alliance, and Homes Inc. Housing remains the #1 need in the area. To address the need for safe, affordable housing located outside of the floodplain, most of the remaining Team Eastern Kentucky Flood Relief Fund will be used to build homes in our high ground communities. According to FAHI, 311 muckouts, rehabs, and new homes have been completed. That means there are 311 habitable homes, some of which haven't been built, but the other ones needed work to get people in them, meaning 311 families are already back in them. 3 high ground communities have been announced, 1 each in Knott, Perry, and Letcher counties. The community projects also include much needed infrastructure Infrastructure work for these high ground communities are going to help, whether that's Hazard or Perry County's water and sewer system. It's going to help us to modernize a lot of the infrastructure in the region. Infrastructure projects have multiple funding streams, including Eastern Kentucky SAFE funds, Appalachian Regional Commission grants, and other federal grant funds. This week, I joined Appalachian Regional Commission federal co-chair Gail Manchin to announce $5.3 million to help flood recovery efforts in Letcher and Perry counties. I will also tell you, as of today, just 4 days after we open signups, the ARC conference in Ashland is fully booked. We're going to truly be able to display the best of Kentucky during that conference. The state continues to evaluate additional properties for high ground building, with more announcements expected soon. Once completed, these high ground communities will be home to hundreds of Kentucky families who will never have to worry about that flooding again. Our transportation department was on the ground immediately after the flooding, reopening and reconnecting roads and water crossings for emergency response efforts. They cleared hundreds of rock and mudslides and downed trees in dangerous conditions. Crews came from all 12 highway districts, all converging on eastern Kentucky where the need was greatest. These teams also fueled our travel trailer program, hauling and installing hundreds of travel trailers used for shelter. In addition, they set up pop-up offices for renewal licenses, permits, and other credentials. Transportation also led our debris removal and bridge repair. As of today, we've inspected 1,096 state and county bridges and determined 166 need replacement or repair. 81 bridges have been completed, 12 more are being readied for contract letting. 409,000 tons of flood debris were removed from roadsides and more than 600 miles of waterway. And 5,791 tons of debris that couldn't be moved to the roadside were cleaned up through our private property debris removal program. Energy and Environment Cabinet, more than 500 support personnel in the divisions representing forestry, emergency response, energy, abandoned minelands, and water stepped up to assist. The Division of Water personnel worked closely with each affected drinking and wastewater facility to get service.
Well, we're doing for the president here. Yeah, we're going to take our first break here of this hour just to get one out of the way before the president speaks in Philadelphia.
We're proud of Team Kentucky.
Here, David, I want to thank Governor Shapiro, who's doing a hell of a job. It's my friend, Senator Bobby Casey, and Senator Fetterman, who've been such great partners to me. Folks, I want to also thank Representative Mary Kay Stem, who fights so hard for this district, and the other members of Congress, Brendan Boyle, Chrissy Houlihan, Madeline Dean, Joe Courtney. I tell you, Donald Marcos, by the way, Donald from across the way. You know, I always kid Donald when members come there, I say, you know, Delaware is small, so we have to fight for every inch territory. So there was a debate of whether Delaware, the state of Delaware, owned the Delaware River along the Delaware shore up to the high water mark in New Jersey. And they said no. We went to the Supreme Court. They got something right. They said, yeah, we do. Anyway, I was kidding all the time. Folks, look, before I begin, I want to say that we're praying for those who lost their lives in the flooding in Bucks County. The idea that there's not global warming, I think, can't be denied by anybody anymore. And anyway, we're grateful for all the first responders. Continue to look for 2-year-old Maddie and her baby brother Conrad. With the grace of God, maybe something will come of it. I want to thank Governor Shapiro and all the Bucks County officials and their leadership during that tragic time. We provided all we could for FEMA, but there's a lot to be done. I'm here today to talk about what we're doing to invest in America, invest in Pennsylvania, invest in our clean energy future. To talk about the progress we made building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up. You know, I came to office determined to strengthen the middle class. I often say, and I mean it sincerely, and, you know, Wall Street, good folks down there, but they didn't build the middle class. They didn't build America. The middle class was built by the middle class. And the unions built the middle class and to change the economic direction of this country. Because I got tired of trickle-down economics. I've never been a big fan. If the wealthy do very well, I'm a capitalist. I like the wealthy to be able to people be wealthy. But if the mere fact they do well doesn't mean everybody else does well. I watched my dad growing up, and not a whole lot of benefit trickle down on his kitchen table as a consequence of trickle-down economics to what everyone from Financial Times and Wall Street Journal has become my different philosophy. I don't think they started off trying to be complimentary, but they started calling them Bidenomics. And our plan is working Bidenomics. We're here. Here's what it looks like. We're 13 million new jobs built across the country, nearly 500,000 of them here in Pennsylvania just in the last 2.5 years. 800,000 manufacturing jobs, 28,000 here in Pennsylvania alone in the last 2.5 years. That's more jobs in 2 years than any president's created in a 4-year term. Unemployment is below 4%, the longest stretch of unemployment below 4% in the last 50 years. We're beginning to come back, folks. Because we're giving workers a chance. Unemployment's down. But to the surprise of a lot of economists, so is inflation. Remember the story? In order for inflation to come down, you got to cut wages for hard-working folks. You got to have unemployment up in order for inflation to come down. Well, guess what? I never bought that. I don't think the problem in America is too many people are working or the people are making too much money. Instead, we focused on getting Americans into the workforce by fixing a broken supply chain, lowering the cost of product from everything from healthcare to the products we purchase. The fact is, companies made record high profits during the pandemic. And by the way, I'm not opposed to companies. I come from the corporate capital of the world. More corporations incorporated in Delaware than every other state in the union. Everybody should pay their fair share. Everybody should pay their fair share. Now they're coming down, and so is inflation. You need to keep bringing it down the markups and the margins of the profits. It's one thing to make a profit, it's one thing to be excessive. You know, this is one of the most important ways to continue to make progress on inflation. We have to do more. Inflation has slowed every single month in the last 12, on a yearly basis for the last 12 months. How many times you read that a recession's coming? People in Wall Street today said, no, they don't see a recession coming now. It's the lowest point in inflation, the lowest point in over 2 years. The U.S. has the lowest inflation rate of any major economy in the world, the so-called G7. It's less than 2/3 of what it was a year ago. Down from 9% to 3%, and going to go down lower. the same time, pay for low-wage workers has gone up at a faster pace than over 2 decades. Wages are growing faster than inflation. That means a lot of working folks are beginning to be able to have lift a little bit of breathing room. According to the surveys, job satisfaction in America is at a 36-year high. We got more work to do, but people are coming off the sidelines to work. The share of working-age Americans in the workforce is as high as it's been in 20 years, including during every single day under my predecessor. And folks, it's not an accident. It's my economic plan in action. It's Bidenomics. Since I took office, we've attracted over $500 billion, $500 billion in private investment in American manufacturing and clean energy. That's what's been attracted to engage in these issues. Instead of an exporting job, used to be find the cheapest market in the world, send the job overseas and bring the product back. Not on my watch. What here we're doing, we're creating jobs in America and we're exporting American products. With the leadership of the Democratic members of Congress, we passed the Inflation Reduction Act, although a few Republicans did support it. The largest investment to combat climate ever, anywhere in the world. Over $368 billion. We know the urgency. I don't know many naysayers on climate deny the floods, heat waves, wildfires impacting so many Americans. Just this week alone, it's just spontaneous. But we also have solutions. A lot of my friends in organized labor know when I think climate, I think jobs. I think union jobs, not a joke. Not a joke. This law is creating millions of good-paying clean energy manufacturing jobs, including offshore wind. When I took office, I set a goal of producing 30 gigawatts of offshore energy wind by 2030. 30 gigawatts is enough to power 10 million homes. Now, it'll put us on a path to 100% clean energy by 2035. By 2035, all of electricity you turn in is all going to be clean energy. It's not hypothetical. Construction is already underway in 2 major projects off the East Coast. And just within the last month, the Department of Interior advanced permitting on 2 more wind projects in the East Coast. And here in the Philly shipyard, Great Lakes Dredge and Dock is also stepping up to help meet the clean energy goals. Here today, workers in 9 different unions will start building a vessel called a Acadia. It's going to place heavy rocks at the base of the offshore wind projects to stabilize them when they put these down. And it's going to protect it against erosion. Be the first vessel of its kind that's made in America. American-owned, American-operated. The rocks will come from American quarries and be loaded at American ports. Steel for vessels being made by the United States Steelworkers in Indiana. The engine was made in the United States Electrical Radio and Machine Workers in Pittsburgh. The crew is going to be American Marine mariners from Seafarers International Union. The turbines themselves will be as tall as the building in Center City, Philadelphia. That's how big they are. And the blades, 110 yards long. I went to see them being made in Colorado. It's breathtaking. And I might add, notwithstanding what the other guy said, windmills do not cause cancer. Look, some folks may not know there was a law in 1920 called the Jones Act that was passed. It says ships traveling between U.S. ports have to be American-built, American-owned, and have American crews. But there's some content to rely on ships built overseas without American crews to operate them. Again, not on my watch. We're strengthening American shipbuilding, supporting good union jobs, and bringing offshore wind supply chains back home. Before the pandemic, supply chain wasn't a phrase most Americans ever thought about. But today, after delays in parts and products, Everybody knows what a supply chain means and why they matter. Our Investing in America agenda is bringing our clean energy supply chains home. Since I took office, we've seen more than $16 billion in new offshore wind investments, including 18 offshore wind vessels, 12 manufacturing facilities, and 13 ports. Today, we announced the first ever offshore wind sail in the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to the Gulf. I think I'm kidding. Ain't seen nothing yet. Across the Delaware River in Paulsboro, New Jersey, workers are rolling the steel foundation for another large-scale wind project. That's going to create more than 3,000 good-paying jobs. A project off the coast of New York will use the vessel built in shipyards in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Florida. Rely on electrical substations, engineered in Kansas, and made in Texas. The Inflation Reduction Act offers tax credits for projects using American-made iron, steel, manufactured projects, so our clean energy future will be made in America. I mean it. And all this investment, you know better than any group of people I could be talking to, all this investment means good-paying jobs here at home. Here at home. We're making sure these new jobs come free and fair, and the ability to join the union if you're not already in it. I made a commitment that I'd be the most pro-union president in American history. And I'm keeping that promise. Let me explain why. I met with the Business Roundtable, the leading businessmen in the nation. And they asked me why. I said, because it's good for you. I tell business all the time, union workers are the best in the world. You don't just say, by the way, I want to be an electrician. Here's my license. The young woman you just heard, she's not an electrician. But guess what? 4 to 5 years of apprenticeship. It's like going back to school. It's like going to college for 4 years. You do the job right, they do it on time, and long term it costs less than non-union labor. And here at the Philly Shipyard, over 1,000 union workers will be employed on site, like metal workers, boiler makers, electricians. In fact, this shipyard runs an apprentice program giving workers the skills to do these jobs. They can earn up to $100,000 a year, and you don't need a college degree. Just a few years ago, this shipyard was down to a handful of workers. As these guys know, I've been coming here for a long, long time, since 1972. I was a Navy shipyard. And a lot of us wondered whether we'd still be here, didn't we? A lot of us wondered 15, 10, 12 years ago. Well, let me tell you, it's coming alive again. Just this week, my administration completed a review of a potential wind project off the coast of Rhode Island and Connecticut. It's part of the National Project Labor Agreement for the building trades. I want to thank the AFL-CIO President Liz Schuler for personally getting that done. Together, we're transforming the country, not just through manufacturing, but also rebuilding our infrastructure. We need to have the best infrastructure in the world if we're going to lead the world. We used to be number 1, we now rank number 13 in the world. Highways, bridges, how can we be number 1 in the world? Economically. We can have the best economy without having the best infrastructure. So the bipartisan infrastructure, which a number of our colleagues did vote for on both sides of the aisle, I've already announced 35,000 projects in 4,500 communities all across America, proving we can do big things. By the way, right here in Philly, we're going to build $1 billion tunnels underneath the water as you go from Amtrak station heading north. Going to increase the speeds of trains. Be able to go through it 100 miles an hour instead of 30. And guess what? When you get to point A to point B, and you can do it on rail and leave your car home, people leave their cars home. It saves money. It saves the environment. There's no better example than here in Philadelphia. A tanker truck crashed, closed the key stretch of I-95 last month. You remember that? 150,000 vehicles across that part of the highway. 150,000. every single day. With the leadership of Governor Shapiro, Casey, Fetterman, Boyle, Kenny, it opened in less than 2 weeks. You hear that? 2 weeks. Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. I mean, think about it. All kidding aside, when we were saying that on the bridge, people looking at us like, oh God, here they go again. It's a record time, and guess what? Used materials from right here in Pennsylvania. All that crushed glass, all that base, and it was done with union work. Also announced $78 million for safety improvements along Roosevelt Boulevard here in Philly, from North Broad to the Bucks County line. Between 2012 and 2021, accident along that stretch of highway killed 119 people. And I don't know how many injured, 119 died. Nearly 1 in 3 Philadelphians living in a mile of there, thousands of families will benefit when we make that a hell of a lot safer. Removing every single lead pipe in America, including an estimated 20,000 lead pipe lines here in Philly, and thousands of lead pipes in school fountains all across America, including here in Philadelphia. There are risks to everyone's health, especially our children. We're making investments like this in communities all across the country, in red states, blue states, it doesn't matter. I'm present for everybody. I said that no matter whether they were for me or against me, I'd make sure we change this. You can see exactly where this money is going if you're interested. Go to online, go to invest.gov. Find out what's happening in your community. Because that we talked about, remember Infrastructure Week? Well, we have infrastructure decade. And guess what? It's committed $1 trillion, $300 billion. And guess what else? I lowered the federal deficit by $1 trillion, $700 billion in the first 2 years. You can do both. The reason I'm saying this is we've operated on principles that haven't been working. My Invest American agenda also had another transformative impact. All those members of Congress who voted against the bill suddenly realized it's pretty good. And they're bragging about it. I found it interesting. As you may have seen, apparently 40 million people watched. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the very conservative gentle lady from the state of Georgia, said Biden is doing things like Roosevelt, and it goes on the line as if he's creating these jobs, and he thinks that. I thought that was, I never had an endorsement for the reform. For all kidding aside, every single Republican voted against the Inflation Reduction Act. And now many are trying to repeal, and it was in order, the reason of the act was to repeal the clean energy provisions. That's why they voted no. It didn't stop them from claiming credit. Now the billions of dollars and thousands of jobs are coming to their states. Then there's this distinguished senator from Alabama, a former coach of a winning football team, University of Alabama, Senator Tuberville. The one who's blocking the nominations for America's finest military leaders, jeopardizing our national security.
Auburn! Tuberville's an Auburn, idiot! Not Alabama. Boy, you're gonna get roasted for this.
Voted against it. Here's what he says now. Great to see Alabama receive critical funds to boost ongoing broadband efforts. Thought he thought it was a bad idea to invest in that. And now it's coming to Alabama. And hot damn boy, it's a good thing. Look, I'm glad the senator is coming around on the infrastructure law, but I'm not going to let up until he comes around with the critical military nominations as well. Let me close with this. I'm not here to declare victory. We got a long way to go in the economy. But I'm here to say we have more work to do. We have a plan that's turning things around pretty quickly. Bidenomics is just another way of saying restore the American dream. 40 years of trickle-down economics of Democrat and Republican administrations limited the dream to those at the top. But I believe every American willing to work hard should be able to get a job no matter where they live, in the heartland, in a small town, in big cities, to raise their kids on a good paycheck, keep roofs over their head where they grew up, be able to stay there. My dad used to have an expression, I swear to God, this is an expression, as kids growing up. This is how he'd say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay. And he meant it. He never got to go to college, but he meant it. Worked like hell. Jobs are about dignity. That's the American dream. That's Bidenomics, and Bruno would always work best for this country. Investing in America. Investing in Americans. Because when you invest in our people, you strengthen the middle class. We see strong economic growth that benefits everybody. The rich still do very well, and they should be able to do well. When I-95 shut down last month, nobody thought we'd have it back open in less than 2 weeks. With American ingenuity, American workers, we proved everybody wrong. I don't know about you, but it filled me with pride about what we can do when we work together. We work together in that project. The same will be true here in Philly Shipyard, with the clean energy future we're building all across America. It will be transformational, and for thousands of families who rely on good jobs for their project, these projects create. It means restoring a sense of pride, a sense of hope, a sense of dignity that got lost somewhere along the way. The longest time we've been told to give up on manufacturing in America. How many times have you heard, read the paper for the last 25 years, we can never lead the world of manufacturing again? Well, we are and we will. You'll never believe that. I've never believed it, and I don't think most of you did. This nation used to lead the world of manufacturing. We're going to do it again. I know the people of this country, and I can say honestly, I've never been more optimistic about America's future than I am this very day. I swear to God. I've long said to other world leaders, I know almost every one of them personally, met them. It's never been a good bet to bet against America. It's never, never, never. You just have to remember who we are. We're the United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity to work together. So God bless you all. May God protect our troops. This is a new day. We're gonna more work to do. We're gonna get it done. Thank you.
There you have it, everyone. President Biden out there in Philadelphia talking about his Bidenomics as well as talking and moving forward there as he is running there for 2024. Of course, we got you covered right here on Live Down from Fox. We are going to take a 2-minute break. Here is what we have coming up in the next hour here. We are expecting a Pentagon briefing coming up pretty soon. State Department is on deck. We'll bring you there on the other side of the break right here on Live Now from Fox. the top stories, headlines, live feeds, all in the mix right here. And we got another live feed to the State Department briefing. It is going on now. We'll take you out there live right here on Right Now from Fox.
Next question. In relation to actions that may be considered offensive to religious beliefs and values.
Yeah, I've spoken to this before, and I will say, as I've said before, that it is abhorrent for anyone to burn or to face a religious book held in honor by so many people around the world. We appreciate the significance of the Holy Quran and other texts. At the same time, we support the right to peaceful freedom and peaceful assembly and freedom of expression. We support the right to freedom of religion or belief for everyone. So we condemn such acts as the burning of a Quran. We think they are abhorrent. But at the same time, we recognize the right for people to freely exercise their right to expression.
My name is Nazira. I'm from Afghanistan. So this is the first time that I asked my question. Any update about the U.S. relationship with the Taliban? Number one. The second question, there are so many Afghans who left Afghanistan and they are still in Abu Dhabi's camp. Their situation is very tough, the weather is so hot, and they keep complaining and get contact with me with some other Afghans. Any possibility to expedite their case to the State Department?
I will say on the second question, it is an issue on which we continue to remain focused and work. On the first question with respect to the relationship with the Taliban, on a number of different fronts. First, on the counterterrorism front, we are holding the Taliban to their commitments under the Doha Agreement, including their commitment to Afghanistan not being used as a safe haven to plot terrorist attacks against the United States of America and our allies. We continue to condemn the Taliban's treatment of women and girls in the country. I spoke to that just yesterday. And we continue to express that there are a number of changes that the Taliban need to make if they ever wish to achieve the legitimacy that they claim they seek.
Thank you.
I'm going to change regions if I may.
Do whatever you want. Hold on.
Other, I speak to Haiti.
It's a bit of a potpourri today anyway, so.
Jumping one. Haiti, please. UN Food Agency said on Monday that it's lacking funds for its program. In fact, its program now is 16% funded, only 16% funded, which means basically they're going to have to cut their funding for several hundred thousand people in food aid in Haiti. So, Haiti are not getting food, big cuts, they're not getting security. Meeting at the the Security Council, which didn't agree on sending an international force of some sorts. So, what are you prepared to do more now on Haiti to set up this force, which the Secretary said was urgently needed?
I will say that we continue to work with partner nations to identify a lead nation for a police-driven multinational force. It is urgently needed, as the Secretary said. I don't have any updates on that today, but I do hope to have them in the near future. Where did that come? Oh, yeah, all the way in the back. It's the voice of God in the back. Not to elevate your status, sorry. It's already elevated.
Just staying in the region. On Jamaica, there are reports that the U.S. is not going to renew the visa for a consul general in Miami, and I wonder if A, if that's true, and B, if that's related to the fact that the Jamaicans won't accredit the same-sex partner of an American diplomat.
So I would say two things. Number one, that one of our top priorities is to ensure that privileges and immunities are granted to spouses of personnel assigned to U.S. embassies and consular posts regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity. The department's policy regarding the accreditation length of diplomats from missions to the United States, however, is applied universally, absent a reciprocal accreditation policy, and diplomats accredited to those missions are expected to end their tour after 5 years and depart the United States.
You could give a waiver, and you're not giving a waiver in this case?
We have not at this point, but I don't have any further updates.
could happen, or that it has happened?
That it is a policy concern that same-sex spouses would not be granted the same rights and privileges.
But has it actually happened?
I'm not aware of something happening with respect to a specific individual.
It's a concern of mine that I might get hit by a bus.
It is a concern over a specific policy. That could be applied.
But it hasn't been.
Not that I'm aware.
On human trafficking.
No, I'll come to you.
Sorry.
September this year is World Maritime Day, and the United Nations is holding events. Iran had offered to hold a parallel event in Tehran, but today apparently the United States shot it down and let a move to reject that offer. Can you expand on that, please?
You're right that the International Maritime Organization today rescinded a decision for Iran to host a World Maritime Day event. I wouldn't say it's just the United States. I think the vote was something like 15-2 with some additional extensions. I don't have the numbers exactly wrong, but that's generally in the ballpark. But you're right about our position, which is that Iran has no business hosting any official international gathering related to maritime affairs because it has repeatedly demonstrated its contempt for international maritime rules, standards, and safety. You've seen them interfering with the free navigation of vessels recently, so we did think that it was appropriate that they not be allowed to host this event, and the IMO agreed to that.
Finished sanctions today on the determining individuals and entity linear. The release said that it was to further hold Russia accountable for the war in Ukraine, but is there something specific that prompted these? We could speak a bit more to why now and why?
I would say first, before I do want to highlight a couple of examples, but first to answer that question. So one of the things we made clear when we first started rolling out sanctions on the first day of the invasion, the immediate days that followed it, and the months since then, is that we would do two things. One, continue to look at ways to impose sanctions on new individuals or new entities that we thought would be appropriate to further our goals of holding Russia accountable, number one, and number two, degrading its ability to conduct the war. Sometimes those new sanctions come because we're able to gather new information. Sometimes it's because we see new entities behaving in a way that they didn't. A lot of this is technical work that does take time. And then the second thing we continue to do is look for ways to tighten our sanctions when we see sanctions evasion. So I will say with respect to the specific example, if you look, number one was a leading Russian engineering, procurement, and construction entity that's directing construction activities for future Russian energy export activities. Another was one of Russia's top producers of metals such as copper, zinc, gold, and silver. 5 additional Russian financial institutions. You've seen us impose sanctions on Russian financial institutions on the past. So with all these sanctions, what we're always doing is trying to find additional ways to, as I said, one, hold Russia accountable, and two, choke off its ability to either fund, finance, or construct materials for its war machine.
So this was nothing, the timing was anything to do with the Black Sea initiative?
No, these sanctions were on track well in advance of Russia's decision to withdraw. Go ahead.
Thanks, Matt. Christian persecution is a serious problem in Iran. According to Voice of the Martyrs Persecution.com report, these pastors are often arrested, tortured, and imprisoned, and their families are harassed. What are President Biden's policies in dealing with Iran on this matter? And I have a follow-up.
We continue to support the free exercise of religion everywhere, obviously including Iran.
Okay, what countries has President Biden imposed sanctions on for persecuting Christians, and has he spoke out on this matter at the UN?
Let me just say that I just spoke in the last 10 minutes, I believe, about the persecution of one Christian leader in Iran's neighbor, Iran, and made very clear our concerns on that. So it is obviously a concern that we have. We are concerned about the persecution or mistreatment of any religious figure or any person attempting to exercise their religious beliefs anywhere in the world. Go ahead.
It's on human trafficking and human rights. One here in the U.S. in Richmond, Virginia. Yesterday, federal grand jury came up with a human trafficking against 2 people. They were bringing some people from overseas, from India here, and using them or exploitation was going on at their stores and restaurants or also at gas stations and at home. My question is that many cases have taken place here in the US. Many are still going on, but many people don't report because of fear of persecution, or they are threatened to, they take their passports and immigration status and that we will report you if you report to anybody. But these two people, federal grand jury yesterday indictment came up that an FBI did investigate. My question is here,